Here are 3 reasons why your mother and baby father hate you. And when I say baby father, I'm only specifically talking about the narcissists, the sociopaths, the psychopaths, the very controlling, hateful, envious motherfucker that don't want to take care of his child. He hates you and that motherfucking child, matter of fact. So here we go. 3 reasons why. Number 1, because you love the baby more than you fucking love him. You heard what I said. Narcissistic men are jealous and envious of their own children. They're jealous of everybody's children. They're jealous of the love and affection that children receive because 9 times out of 10, they sorry ass mommies and daddies didn't give them that same affection when they were little boys. Even when the child becomes a teenager and an adult, you shower that child with gifts, a graduation gift, buy the child a car, an apartment. He'll be hating on his own kid on the low. Okay? Your baby daddy wants you to worship him the same way you love on your child.
My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done or that we do daily that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell us that all of that being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. You know them women that had men if they got a bunch of children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. We talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home. We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down instead of building it up. Having an education and a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who are, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black female emotionalism. They're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grew up in a home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there. They go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together. Those rules have not worked for us. The white woman's liberation movement, we don't have anything to do with that. We have not been under the control of the black man for over 500 years, so what do we have to get liberated from them from? They haven't been our boss. That's the white woman and her man. They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the black man, the black woman, and the black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built. They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between black men and black women, because then everybody started going for self.
The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman is a culmination of many years of study, observation, and research. It is a forerunner, the first book of its kind to realistically detail the problems between the black man and the black woman in America. It is designed to enlighten the black man and create a revolution of positive change in black relationships. The major category addressed is the black woman's emotional insecurity and related fears and how they contribute to the problem. The black woman's emotional distress is often highlighted during discussions about the problem, but neither side admits the real deal. The men protectively withhold their opinions, and the women just outright lie. Their discourse remains detached and superficial, with crucial issues delicately avoided by unspoken agreements on both sides. Part of this is because the black woman does not know that she has an adjustment problem. She certainly does not believe that her disrespect for the black man is destructive, nor that her opposition to him has deteriorated the black nation. The other part is that the black man has received no confirmation that he suspects is actually happening. The black woman's misdirected intentions rob her of the security and the satisfaction she longs for. And she continues to lack the solution and repairing her damaged self-esteem by herself. Her confusion about her role and purpose and the interference of Western society has produced her inappropriate behavior. Her main fault is that she wants to have her own way. It is not an unfair generalization to charge the black woman with being out of control due to her rebellion against the authority of the black man. If the black man intends to be successful in mating with the black woman, he must be aware of every aspect of her nature. While this book is not an intentional negative portrayal of the black woman, I will stay singularly focused on her problems, and I will tell the truth about her condition. Inside information, which has never appeared in print, will be revealed with clarity and speed. And I explain why the black woman persists in the face of repetitive error to hold steadfast to the principles that cause her to fail in her attempts to unite with the black man. I am breaking a tradition of sorcery and cover-ups. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward. Last week we completed our reading of Frantz Fanon's book, The Wretched of the Earth. Great book, great book. I should have my Amazon affiliates information in the description so you can go in there and get it. But I put my new poll up, and I had, of course, 4 books that was a part of the poll. And the book that won was Sister Shahrazad Ali's The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. The 4 books were Black Power, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman, Souls of Black Folks, and The Narrative for Frederick Douglass. And with 37% of the votes, Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman came out in first place. So we will be reading this book until we complete it. So let's buckle up and let's get in. So you saw the clip at the beginning of the woman talking about her deadbeat baby daddy and the issues and the beliefs that she has towards the baby daddy and towards men in general. And then it was followed by Shahrazad Ali giving her information based off of her observations, her research, and her studies on the Black woman and the Black woman in relation to the Black man. And it's not good where we are. I think our marriage rate is around 20 to 25%. We have more single parent households than we care to even admit. It's like we can't get along. And if you cannot build a family, you cannot build a society. Well, if you can't build a family, you can't build a neighborhood. If you can't build a neighborhood, you can't build a community. You can't build a community, you can't build a society. You can't build a society, you can't build a nation. Right? So we got to get rid of this talks about building a Black nation if we're refusing to build Black families. And so what we're going to deep dive into this book and learn the information that Sister Shahrazad Ali is giving us about the issues with the Black man and the Black woman. And so I'm starting off on the preface. I'm starting off with the preface. And I did the first 2 paragraphs of the preface. Now I'm going to read the second to the last paragraph. Well, it's 2 paragraphs up from the last paragraph. It starts with this book for every Black man in America. So that's what I'm picking up in the preface. And then I'm getting into the chapters, and I read chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I think I read to page 10 because I wanted to split it up and be able to get the information like I wanted to give it. So I read chapters 1 and 2. So I read from the beginning of the preface to chapter 10. To page 10, right before chapter 3. So let me pick back up. So this book is for every Black man in America, and it doesn't matter who he is or what he's got. His woman is his problem. The Black man has suffered and continues to suffer in all aspects of his life generated by the problems that he has with his woman. He has endured rejection and failure in his personal life almost as calmly as success and triumph. Naturally, during these computerized, fast-paced times, it is not fashionable for the Black woman to be in submission to the Black man. In relation to the Black woman, in retaliation, the Black woman the Black man has withdrew his support in all areas. He tries to work his life around the scorn. Still, this report does not absolve or vindicate the Black man from his negligence and allowing the Black woman to become distasteful. He cannot continue to shirk his portion of the responsibility for her outrageous and embarrassing conduct. And he is the only one qualified and justified to put the Black woman back in order. So what I do like here is she's examining the Black woman and the position that the Black woman is in America and the situation, also the relationship that the Black woman has with the Black man, but she's not putting the onus squarely on the Black woman's shoulder. This is just an examination of the Black women. But like I've always said, 50% of the problem is on the men, 50% of the problem is on the women. But we have to be adult enough and aware enough to realize where we have contributed to the problems and to mature as adults so we can contribute to the solutions. He must not thrive for perfection in the Black woman, which is true. This is the wrong generation for that. Instead, he must strive for the effort and improvement and be insistent on progress. When she learns better, she must do better. Some of the remedies in this book will seem harsh and unorthodox, but pain is unavoidable, preceding the birth of a new idea that will born a new Black woman to live in peace with the Black man. The infected brain may take several generations before the defects subside, but the work must begin now. Today, the Black woman will never be able to excel Today, the Black man will never be able to excel until he gets his woman under control. Currently, he spars with the white man to preserve his freedom while scuffling with the Black woman to defend his wounded manhood. He has become adept on both sides. His work to bring the Black woman into submission must begin accordingly. It is likened to stepping into the ring with the wild savage boar, a reckless fire-breathing dragon that must be tamed if the Black family is to survive. It is the Black man's responsibility to win this battle. So we have to find a way to work together. So white supremacy is the root of our issue. So remember, the Black family was not in this condition prior to 1965. Prior to 1965, the black family was the model family for America, and the black family was married at an 80% rate. It wasn't a lot of out of wedlock things happening within the black community. Welfare happened. A lot of other social programs happened. Denying black men access to jobs, denying black women access to jobs. Just things that broke, so many factors that were used by white supremacists to break up the black family. These things happen. So yes, white supremacy is the root of it, but we've let it go long enough, right? And she talked about the mental deterioration. So the way we operate is a degenerative way of operating because of the deterioration of our cognitive abilities when it comes to operating as a family unit, right? We've allowed the white man to trick us into hating our women and hating our men. The black woman hates the black man and the black man hates the black woman. We don't really hate each other. And that's the crazy thing about it. We don't really hate each other. We just think we do because in these spaces, it's always pushed by the white supremacists that we're supposed to hate each other. But we really don't hate each other in real life. But on social media, on TV, and all these other mediums that we take our information in, we have the perception and the narrative that we hate each other, but we really don't. But we buy the narratives. Hey, the black woman ain't nothing and the black man ain't nothing. But we have nothing if we don't have each other. So chapter 1, her childhood. And what I like about this is Shahrazad Ali in this chapter is examining how the black woman is socialized as a child. So from the very first moment she's born, she becomes attached to her first teacher, her mother. Her eyes study her mother constantly during the initial bonding process. She learns to smile and form other mutual connection techniques. She, as with any other cub, is taught survival skills, how to eat, dress, bathe, use the toilet, general manners, and obedience, most implied by a look or spoken in a certain tone of voice. She is able to understand the language long before she can speak it. She never stops studying her mother, and she never stops learning for her. If she is raised by two parents, she studies them both. Since she is with the mother or other females, she learns to tune into them emotionally. She learns to observe the other adults in the same way. She can detect when they are happy, at peace, or sadly restrained or mad. She also pays attention to how her mother treats her father. Pay attention now. She learns glances, body language, and moods. The spoken and unspoken messages that her mother displays. As a cub, she mimics and includes these practices, right or wrong, as part of her survival skills from the very start. She overhears conversations that her mother has with her friends or relatives pertaining to the father. If all of the mother's comments are supportive and positive, good. But since the habit of gaming on the black man is a 400-year-old tradition, the inflictions are for the most part negative. She listens and she records. The first mental tapes translate into pictures in forms that they cannot be erased, at least not for many years. What she overhears as a small child may go something like this. I don't care what your father said. I said, I've got to cook and clean up this house before your father get home because I don't want to hear his mouth. Your father don't run this house. I do. He don't know what he talking about. He don't know that I know. He don't know what he's doing. John makes me sick. I get tired of picking up behind him. If the father requests something, she may hear the mother say, get it yourself, or you don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. So now she's getting into the conditioning, the initial conditioning that the young girl would get from her mother, especially if it's a combative mother who is existing in an unhealthy relationship with herself and her husband, rather, right? So it's a household that is not a healthy relationship. It lacks respect. It lacks morals. It lacks values. It lacks the things that help to really have a family stick together. It's more of me, 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 me. I want me. I want me. I want me. I want mine. I want mine. I want mine. And I want my happiness. This is how I get my happiness. I want to be in control. It's a fight for power. Black men and black women are in their homes fighting for power. We're fighting for power that we don't have, or we're fighting for the illusion of the power that we have within our own community. But within this fight for power, we're tearing ourselves further and further and further and further apart. Hey, I said this before and I say it again. Black women, black men need you, and black men, black women need you. Without each other, we are nothing, and we will continue to fail. We will continue to be oppressed. But the conditioning we must understand. Every mother is guilty of using these or similar terminology about her husband when she is tired, exasperated, or angry during the girl child's upbringing. The training message from the mother, the teacher, is the black man don't know. Certain references to the black man are made only behind his back. A woman has the option to choose what she wants to obey. A man is a bother. After hearing various negative emphases behind the father's back, then the girl child observes how the mother may front off when the father is present, pretending that she is obedient and everything is fine. The girl child, while too young to actually distinguish between truth and falsehood, watches how trusting and unaware the father is. Soon she concludes that the mother is right. He don't know, which must mean he is dumb. And if he is dumb and he doesn't know what's going on behind his back, it makes the girl child insecure. He's physically strong, but we live two lives, one in front of daddy and one behind his back. Since the mother is her mentor and they are alike, she agrees you can't trust him. He is different from us, and the cycle starts. On the other hand, if there is no biological father or stepfather on the premises whom the girl child can relate or observe daily, who the girl child can relate to and observe daily, the scenario may go something like this, especially if the single mother is periodically changing men or dating around. The girl child may hear, I'm going to get that tonight. I keep calling him every night, but he ain't home. Girl, don't believe nothing he says. He just lies all the time. I can't believe nothing he says. I'm going to make him spend some money on me. I got to find me a man. I want to see what he can do. You can't let a man know all your business. So she also goes into training messages from the mother. In this instance is, the black man is a liar. Don't believe in him. He'll disappoint you. The black man will desert you. No security. Withholding information is a necessary practice when dealing with the black man. And if you're going to deal with the black man, you have to have a plan. A broken person passing down broken messages to a daughter that she is now breaking. And the daughter will grow up broken, whether she's in the household with her father or not, because she's learning early that she can't trust her father. She can't depend on her father. And her father is not smart enough to understand what's going on. So if he's not smart enough to understand what's going on, is he smart enough to protect them? So already, because the mother is broken, in this instance, in this scenario, because the mother is broken, the father is seen as an enemy. So the first person that the young girl is supposed to trust as far as a man is viewed as an enemy because of the messages and the conditioning by the mother and the scenarios that happen. So the father says something, the mother doesn't do it. The mother bucks back. The mother is reinforcing her negative behavior, her defiant behavior. So the young girl is learning defiance is normal. That's what you're supposed to do because you're a strong black woman who's independent and don't need no man for nothing. But the strong black independent women who don't need no men for nothing out here struggling. So, yeah. While the aforementioned statement examples may seem trite or unimportant, remember that they are of great significance since they are a part of the first introductory impressions on the girl child about the black man who is usually not present to defend himself or prove the charges are not true. And that's an important statement. That's an important point to make. A lot of times, I've seen it myself, black women who are in a bad state, in a negative state in their life, in a hateful state in their life, they will make statements and make charges and accusations on certain black men who they may have dealt with or whatever. They're telling these stories, and the man is not around, and they're telling the story so convincingly that a lot of people don't even really question anything. They just take it firsthand. But think about it in this situation. Why would the daughter question the mother, especially a young girl, a young daughter who don't know no better? Why would she question her mother? So therefore, everything the mother says has to be true because the mother hasn't lied to her yet, because look at all the reinforcement that has happened. So what the mother's saying has to be true. So the father is somebody who has failed her already, and she's already learned that she can't trust men, especially black men, which is a bad lesson to learn. To the girl child, these impressions represent the pure truth from the person who takes care of her mother. In the two-parent home, the girl child has an easier time learning how to charm the father and get him to cooperate with her and grant her wishes. She adopts these skills to manipulate a person whom she already believes is too swift mentally, according to mom. Who is not too swift mentally, according to mom. She also sees that the father would give the mother a verbal order and later sees the mother do something else different or in a direct opposition. So, if the father becomes vocally angry with the mother, she may show her protectiveness by sending the girl child from the room or outside to play. If the father is rightfully angry, unbeknownst to the child, the mother may be extra nice to defer his attention from the issue of his and to get his mind off being mad. The father may be right, but the teaching message is, and this is the 4 points of the messages that the mother would give to the daughter. He's dangerous and wants to argue, but I'll protect you from him. There is something I have to endure, but you don't. He can be swayed with little kindness and charm. He's our boss, but we don't like it because he's unfair. The girl child watches her mother simulate several emotions: pleasure, admiration, enthusiasm, interest, and cooperation. But the cutting side of the issue is that the mother obviously is projecting fake agreement, and it seems to work, which is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to do in this power struggle. And then using the child as a pawn in this power struggle, but also using the child, you've created a teammate. It's like she's creating a mini-me of herself. And this is my teammate, and we're on this team against the father, against the husband. Why are they against him? They don't really know. That's just what you're supposed to do, right? You're just supposed to be against the man, right? They don't really know why they are in opposition of the man. It's the society telling us that. No, but buying into negative narratives and negative views and being conditioned negatively leads to this. So she's passing this god-awful information down to her daughter to turn her daughter into that single black woman who don't need no man, who's gonna go through life by herself, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Go through life by yourself. So let me get into chapter 2, right? So chapter 2 is the teenage years. So the conditioning happened with the young girl all the way up to the teenage years. So the young girl is learning that black men cannot be trusted. Black men are not on our side. The black man will fail you. The black man is a failure. The black man cannot protect you. Now, you can use him as a kamikaze like bulldog. You can sick him on other people if something bad is happening to you, but you can't expect them to really protect you against the real things that matter, i.e. white supremacy, and i.e. whatever other powers that are more powerful than what we have, right? So now we go into our teenage years. So let's say the girl is 13 years old now. So she's been conditioned this specific way by her mother for 13 years. So she sees men as second-class citizens. She looks down on men, especially her father, because her father's this gullible fool who don't know what's going on and easily manipulated. And, he thinks he has the power, but her mother really has the power, because this is what's been reinforced, not just by her mother, but the other women that she's been around, because It's nothing but strong black women that's been around her. So, you know, these men ain't nothing. But, you know, she's growing into a teenager. Now these things called hormones are starting to work. And now she's becoming interested in these boys. So it's going to be a little different view. But she still has the teachings that her mother gave to her when she was young. But the rebellious aspect of the young girl would also kick in. But what is her foundation? And people never stray away from their foundation until the program is changed, right? So by the time the black girl child reaches teendom, she is fully schooled in the various manipulative skills available to use on the black man. The fact that these opinions have been formed from her emotionally wrought mother, television soap operas, Hollywood movies, true romance magazines, and the love songs does not matter to her. She believes these are documents of truth that she must adhere to be accepted into the womanhood club. By this time, she is eager to learn all she can about the opposite sex with the single motivation of getting the black man to literally eat out of her hand. Keeping certain secrets from the teenage boy is a way of life, is already established as the norm. It is during this time that the black teenage girl forms a special bond with her mother regarding black men, a type of in-house conspiracy that may include a warning from the mother about not telling the father how much an item of clothing really cost, not letting the father know that the mother had an accident or forgot to pay an important bill, that the daughter is dating prematurely or came in too late, that the daughter is on birth control, keeping quiet about the girl failing a test in school to keep her from being punished or grounded. Any topic discussed that begins with "Don't tell your father it's wrong." This kind of conspiracy, this kind of conspiracy between the black mother and the black teenage girl seals their secret relationship, one where information is withheld in the name of keeping the peace, a seemingly honorable intention, right? Lies operate on the domino principle. If one lie is told, the teller is forced to tell another and another and another. At the time, the lie may seem harmless enough. They are considered a necessity. Thus, by using these tactics, the black teenage girl continues to prove to herself that the black man can be manipulated by instructing her mother to tell her boyfriend that she is not home in order to make him jealous. The mother will usually comply and relate the lie to the black male caller, pretending she is not ready when her date arrives to make him wait, sweat, or worry a little, using her feminine attributes of flattery or a swivel of the hips to get his attention. She practices how to use sexual innuendo by talking to another boy to make him upset as a threat to test him to see if he's really serious about her. The indirect lessons the black mother is teaching and agreeing with is it is okay to lie to the black man if you're doing it to check his level of affection for you. It's permissible to withhold the truth from the black man if the truth will make him displeased with you. There are some issues with the black man just don't understand. There are some issues that the black man just don't understand and some that are not just his business. For artificial flattery will take her far. All of this reaffirms to the black teenage girl that one, the black man is easily seduced, will believe whatever you tell him, and that she can get back at him by giving him anxiety. Two, all girls play the same games with their boyfriends, so it is obviously just the way things are and will be. Three, the easiest way to get a black man's attention is to cause him some kind of frustration resulting from a carefully executed plan. And four, if she doesn't tell him, he will never know. So the teen years, well, basically now we're seeing a reinforcement of the teaching. And now she's using these skills and it's reinforcing it even more and shaping her worldview that she will take into adulthood, right? So as a woman, men are disposable, men are dumb, men are dependable, depends on how you use them. They can be easily manipulated. They're just tools that we use at our disposal and we throw them away when we don't really need them. We can't really trust them. We can't really communicate with them. No, they're just there as bodies and tools and muscle and stuff like that. So what is the real use of the black man at the end of the day? Like Like the question some of the women ask, like, why do they actually need a man? But we're the only group of people, the only race of people, especially in America, who are asking questions about why we don't need our counterparts. You're the only ones out here talking like we don't need our men and we don't need our women, which is crazy. But we like to talk about community. We like to talk about race. Why wouldn't the white man keep kicking us? Why wouldn't other groups keep dominating us if we keep behaving like we don't like each other? If we keep demeaning each other, if we keep being separate from each other, like so many gurus, so many fake gurus, and so many people out here just giving black women these negative messages, trying to teach them to be something that they're not. We cannot survive out here by ourselves. We need each other. We need to stop the bull. We need each other. But so many people are giving black women messages for years and years. I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. All my life on TV, on the radio, now on the internet, we've been getting messages about how black men just ain't nothing, how horrible men are. The black woman don't need no black man. All my life, I've been hearing strong black independent that don't need a man for nothing. Wow. We really fell for the okie doke. The 10 years are thus spent trying out various schemes on the black male to test his reactions, sincerity, and level of interest. She is well versed by this time to shift through whatever the black man says out of his mouth and decide whether he really means and what her reaction should be. Part of this is explainable. Psychologists agree that no human being views the world through pristine eyes. What we see is edited by a definite set of predetermined rules and values that help create a certain viewpoint on various subjects and situations. The very concept of reasoning that the black teenage girl using to determine what is right and wrong are derived from a tainted test of traditionally learned wickedness passed on from one black female to another, her mother or female guardian. Often the girl will make up wild stories, create false emergencies, or intentionally stand up the boy or tease him with sexual promises until he vows everlasting love. She may also demand expensive gifts or costly outings. To have the black man crawling at her feet, worshiping her eternally is worth any and everything to her. Plus, she confirms that he definitely should pay for the privilege of her company. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar, huh? She does not know that she is learning to. Up to and during teendom, the black mother is rearing the black daughter, must explain sex to her and get her ready to meet the world, which she realizes will evolve in some way around the opposite sex, the black man. Her advice, whatever accepted or not, is given from her personal point of view and is a result of her own experiences with the black man. The same advice she herself took and used throughout the lifetime of the black girl she passes on. Her instructions after she explains the anatomy part may go something like this. Get a good education so you can get a good job and take care of yourself so you won't have to count on a man. Make your own money so you can be your own boss. I hate when women tell me that they learned that. You know you can't trust them, so be careful. Another one I hate. All men want is to get in your pants, play the field for a while, find out what you want. Don't just believe what he tells you. Check him out. Don't just let him get you pregnant. You can't tell a man all your business. Don't spend your own money. Make him pay for it. Make him do something for you. Don't spend all your time with him for nothing. Get with the one who's got the most money, and the rules go on and on and on and on and on. And so Shahrazad Ali goes on to say, I call them rules because while girls are often rebellious during this stage, when it comes to setting their own standards regarding whom they will date, they still hear the negative implications from the above instructions and apply them wherever they choose. This kind of teaching means, 1, test his feelings any way you can. 2, sex is the only motivation the black man has. 3, sex is a weapon. Use it to get what you want. 4, You can't trust what he tells you. 5, he owes you something material or financial if you go out with him. And that's 6. And 7, be promiscuous is a prerequisite for settling down, right? And that's kind of wild. So the black daughter is compelled by nature to follow without reason the example of the black mother throughout her life, which is called instinct. They do as the mother did by her example, and teaching the character of the black girl is stamped with the characteristics of the black mother. Everyone is largely what the mother makes. The moral precepts that the black teenage girl adopts are not her own, and they are split between what she learned from her mother and what white society preaches. Certainly, peer pressure has to be taken into consideration. Mostly, the peer pressure is from other black teenage girls who have been raised in a similar opposing position to the black man. This is a standard process which does not vary very much from household to household. The homemaking skills of the teenage girl picks up from her mother may be adequate, cooking, cleaning, laundry, and shopping, or she may be brought up in an ultra-modern setting where it is thought to be cute for a girl to not know how to cook or keep a house. If the teenage girl has been pumped up with the ideas of being some kind of super career woman, then she will ignore housework altogether, believing that she will never have to attend to such menial duties. Things like meal planning, sewing, taking care of her man and her children are making a peaceful home for her husband are not taught. She watches the mother run the house, and depending on the mother's attitude about it, she forms the same opinion. If the mother acts like serving a man is a bore, so will the daughter. If the mother does not serve the man at all, the daughter will do the same. If the daughter never witnesses the mother serving a man because she's in a single parent household, then she will deem such action as demeaning or reserved for special occasions only. It is unlikely that a girl raised in such a home will have a natural inclination towards taking care of her man. She has no model for it. Homemaking skills have to be taught at home by the mother. If the black man would like to have a visual picture of what today's black teenage girls are doing and thinking, he should take a few moments of his schedule to look at the Soul Train dance show, which comes out on television every week. And of course, this book was published in the early 1989, matter of fact. So it's the substitute Soul Train for TikTok, right? So if the black man would like to have a visual picture out of what today's black teenage girls are doing and thinking, he should take a few moments out of his schedule to look at TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, some of those other dating apps, right? This shows these apps give vent to all the filth that ends up causing the black man's problem with the black woman years later. Of course, this is not the only example. It is the major one that is televised, or it's the major thing that people are taking in: TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, all these things, YouTube with the negative messages, right? The style of clothing, the nakedness, the lewd and shameful facial expressions, and dance movement demonstrate how the level of behavior of our black teenage girls and black teenage boys. And it's crazy that this book was written in 1989, but that pertains to exactly how young black girls and young black boys behave today, which means we are going backwards. We're not getting better. Their dance movements and faces are the result of an idea they have as a young woman that to be seen and admired, they must reveal their bodies and twist and grind in a wild fashion in public. Another Dante's Inferno. Many of the black teenage girls are able to pass for adult women because of how they dress and carry themselves, dedicating their entire existence to functioning in such a way as to attract the sexual advances of a man. Many black mothers approve of this behavior and do nothing to control or stop their daughters from such undignified behavior. Most do not stop them because they do not know how, and they probably are still living those lives themselves. And that is as much as I read. Like I said, I read from the beginning of the preface to page 10, which is the end of chapter 2. So I did read chapters 1 and 2 because I wanted to set the stage about the childhood and the teenage years of the young black woman as analyzed by Shahrazad Ali. The young girl is being conditioned to be a rebel to the black man. The young girl is being conditioned to be in opposition, to be an enemy to the black man. Now, That doesn't mean that black men aren't being taught the same. I'm not saying that black men aren't being taught the same, because we know black men aren't being taught the same, because the content is on YouTube, the content is on social media. But within this book that you all decided, that you all chose, we are examining the black man, because this is the black man's guide to understanding the black woman, right? So we don't want nobody getting into their feelings, because y'all chose the book. Don't nobody getting in their feelings, because we're examining the black woman. And remember, we're examining the black woman through the lens of a black woman. That's why we're reading Shahrazad Ali. Shahrazad Ali, a black woman, has examined other black women and came out with these conclusions and these findings. So this is what we will be doing. And one of the main things is I want to make sure that we are repairing ourselves. We're working to repair ourselves properly, right? Relationships matter. Families matter. Black cooperativeness matter. Black unity matters. Without it, we have nothing. Without it, we will continue to be on the bottom. Y'all must like being on the bottom, because y'all don't want to get it together. For all you who don't want families, who don't need families, who don't care about families, who want to break up families, y'all must want to remain on the bottom. Y'all clearly don't understand racism. You clearly don't understand how the world works, and you clearly must want to stay on the bottom, because we have more than enough information that is telling us that it's not good for us to operate as enemies towards each other, but we continue to operate as enemies towards each other. So we must consciously or subconsciously want to remain oppressed people. Like we talked last week with Frantz Fanon. Maybe we do. Maybe we want to remain oppressed people because it's too much work to be powerful. So that's why we just go ahead and play into the notions of being a foolish black man and a foolish black woman who can't get along because it's too much pressure and it's too much work to actually be free and powerful. So it's easier to be ignorant and under the thumb of white people, because, hey, let the white people do all the work, and all we got to do is just take the crumbs. If we can get enough crumbs, we all good. Maybe that's what's it. But we're going to explore more of the book. Remember, the link will be in the description to get it, along with other affiliate links that I have with Amazon. Like this video, subscribe, share this, get in the comment section. Make sure as many people see this as possible. I love you all, love you all, love you all. Please keep supporting me. Let's keep running these numbers up. Let's get as many likes as possible. I'll catch y'all on the other side. Peace.